Ian Collins wants a word.
See sights never before dreamed by man. A planet doomed to destruction. While captive Earth people fight for their lives.
It is indeed typical that you Earth people refuse to believe in the superiority of any world but your own.
So here it is, Kev. I did promise you that we would do some UFO detail, and Andre has been busy bashing the phones and trying to get us the sort of numero uno, if you like, the archdeacon of all things UFO based. Somebody who's just seen stuff was no good to us. We wanted somebody who clearly knows stuff, somebody who's right into the inner psychology of not just the UFOs, not just the alien beast that might be inside said UFO. I'm talking about the governments that know about them. I want somebody who could give us, if you like, some encyclopedic knowledge of all matters intergalactic, green and grey. We've got him. It's Mr. Tony Topping is with us. Tony Topping. Tony, welcome to Ian Collins Wants a Word. And UFOs do exist.
UFOs, we're still at it. We're still debating it.
One of the reasons we wanted to talk to you, Tony, was that there's lots of areas of interest. We asked people what kind of guests they want, and this comes up quite a bit, and there's still a lot of skepticism about UFOs. I'll throw this one at you straight away, because me and Kev have been talking about this in the studio. Why is there, and I know you're going to tell me differently, why is there not a crystal clear, full-blown, in-focus, 10x8 photograph of a flying object sitting there in a housing estate in Nottingham?
There is in Canada. If you look at Canada as an example, there's quite a few going on. For example, so it is going on. It's just a matter of where to look and where to direct your research. And not only that as well, there was a recent incident. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. It wasn't a recent incident. It was a few years ago actually, where a producer on the BBC let slip. He was a science programme. Let slip about the British government sending out D notices to the media not to report, and that includes broadcasting organisations as well, not to report the incidents of black triangles flying over housing estates and all that kind of thing. They wanted it kept quiet and they weren't allowed to report it. And this was an accidental slip-up that the producer made.
But we don't know that's true, though, do we? He could have just been, singing like a trying to impress his friends.
True, but the D notice was issued, and the thing about it is that the scepticism behind that triangle incident was that the thing about that was that the Ministry of Defence indicated that it was a secret. Well, as often said, the Ministry of Defence know where they fly their kit, which isn't over housing estates. So if you look, for example, at Stansted Airport, there's a clip of near Stansted. There's a clip of an actual UFO near their airport, and it's a belter. It's an absolute belter, and there's absolutely no doubt. Granted, though, Ian, playing also the devil's advocate and the cynic here myself, there are many that are fake, and there are quite a few CGI that are fake. And really, despite what I've said, let's be realistic about it and call a spade a spade. I haven't answered your question, have I, really? I've waffled on about a D notice and a triangle. But yeah, I do agree. Why is there this elusiveness, this constant elusiveness? I mean, for example, if you're looking UFO books, Ian, there's all this talk about I met aliens, they spoke to me, they said this, they said that, and a lot of it is a load of claptrap. It's nothing that somebody like you, who's an intelligent fella and a producer, it's nothing in those books that you can get hold of. I mean, I was listening to a guy giving a lecture in an auditorium about UFOs, and he was saying, I was aboard a UFO, and the alien came and hugged me, and she really meant it. What in God's name does that mean to people? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to people? And this is the thing. Why isn't there a full-blown study of the things, as you rightly said? Yep. And B, why isn't there, in the content of books and literature written about interaction with aliens, why isn't there any meaningful scientific information coming from them? I mean,
I'll level with you here, Tony, and there's no other way of putting this, that Kev and I are right up for an abduction.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be, believe me, I mean, because it has happened, hasn't it, abductions, apparently?
Yeah, it has happened to quite a few people, and the thing is with that, Ian, is that there is there's a very serious, although, I mean, I've got to say, when your producer contacted me, they were talking about she said that it was about the media and UFOs, they're a media cover-up.
Attention, people of Earth, this is Crankcore Exploration Force speaking. Do not be alarmed.
A guy who was at Harvard, a psychiatrist called Johnny Mack, he was suspended from his job because he had the courage to say that these people were not suffering from psychiatric disorders. They had been subjected to some type of horrendous experience or some type of positive experience, as the case may be.
Attention, people of Earth.
Tony, can I just interrupt? Your mobile phone is cracked up.
Can you hear me now, Ian?
Oh, that's right. I can hear you now. That's fine. Let's hear from a guy who claims he had an abduction. You're familiar with this case, aren't you?
I am, very, yes.
So this is a guy, this is a New Zealand guy. His name is Alec Newald, and this is how he describes what happened when he's abducted by aliens.
Well, I was driving the car one minute, and the next the car was nowhere to be seen, and it didn't feel like I had a body, actually. That's where the death scenario comes into it. I felt totally as if I'd been put through a sieve, glowing or a ghost-like entity drifting around, not really touching the ground, and having no walls of any description around me in a huge space, and all there was sort of, in the far distance, was some ghost-like entities, and, well, you can imagine.
So there he is, Tony. Do you believe him?
Oh, absolutely, I believe him. I really do, because it's one of those things that's been played down in the UFO media as well.
I am Ambassador Phantom from the planet Krangkor. At this moment, I am rapidly approaching your planet.
But it's quite a big story to believe, isn't it? Fella says he was driving along the road and then suddenly a load of ghosty-like things, took him away.
Yeah, that's it. No, I don't think he was making it up, and I've been in communication with Alec, who now lives a humble life in a certain part of the world with his own little business, and he doesn't really want to get involved with it anymore, and he's kept himself to himself, and it has deeply affected him what has gone on. He really has. It's affected him deeply, as it affects a lot of people.
Why do you want to believe him, Tony?
Well, it's not...
Because it is, after all, you've got no evidence that this happened. You've only got his word, and you have clearly a desire and an interest to believe him. So it's kind of a self-interest thing, really.
Okay, well, you could say that, Ian, and playing the cynic with myself, it's reasonable, and I've asked that question myself. But the thing is that, as you well know, as I've been through you with your various shows talking about this, I was under severe harassment. I was harassed.
Who was harassing you? Because you've said this before, and we had loads of emails from people saying he's talking, he's making it up.
No.
He's just paranoid.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's the easiest thing to say. But what I will say is that there are certain researchers out there, and certain levels. I've had to study espionage, and so not only am I a UFO specialist, I've had to study intelligence and espionage matters. I've had to put another hat on as well.
Okay.
In order to understand the apparatus that harassed me, to know thy enemy. Yeah. So what we can say.
So you're actually like a sort of a Jack Bauer kind of. Are you a?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I am. That's what I'm becoming, and that's what I have become. Wow. Because I needed to understand the national security. I needed to understand the no dynamite. I needed to understand what the national security issues were, how the intelligence services worked. I needed to all understand that before you could make the sweeping statement, the intelligence service harassed me. If you're talking about the guy who works for MI5 chasing guys that blow themselves up on the tube, certainly not. They do a sterling job. They protect the country's interests and all that kind of
So you're talking about another group of it. So what happens? Are you saying you said something that upset the authorities, or you saw something and the authorities are aware that you've seen it?
Yeah, the element of this. So what you've got is a chain of command that is shut out. So you've got one tier of security clearance and then another tier of security clearance. If, for example, you take Peter Norton, Admiral Hill Norton, Secretary-General of NATO, Chief of Defence Staff of the United Kingdom, who made inquiries about UFOs, nobody was telling him anything, and he went absolutely nuts.
Overloading every channel. What a powerful beam he must have. Look at that modulation.
So why are they hiding all of this then? And does David Cameron know about this?
No, David Cameron. To what I mean, I'm not. Even the U.S. president. Even the U.S. President, Bill Clinton, President Obama, they would not have the clearance.
So Obama, Bush, Clinton, Blair, Brown, Cameron don't know, but you do know.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly, which is probably why I was harassed Ian. Yeah. They don't, because there's one thing in intelligence, and there's one thing in the world of intelligence that they don't like people knowing more than somebody else. They don't like that scenario.
Okay.
So I would say that it's not. I don't say this out of paranoia. I've got nothing to gain by talking about this, and I don't actually say this out of paranoia. What happened to me actually happened, and it's driven me to get to the bottom of what has been going on. I was followed in homes.
So who was following you, and how were you being followed?
Well, for example, Ian, as you well know, I've talked to you a lot over the years on your show, and as you well know, there's been a helicopter at the height of my harassment when I filmed the UFO in 1999. My phone started ringing with all kinds of threats on it in 1999, and I was filmed by a military helicopter. It was green in colour. It certainly wasn't surveying pipelines, and we had a linked helicopter pilot take a look at it, and he said that it was highly unusual because it had a sliding door variant and a winch. I understand that the sliding door variant of the helicopter is only issued to special forces. These were the kind of...
Can you be 100% sure, though, the helicopter was dispatched to film you?
No, I can't say
it wasn't just up there having a mooch around.
We have to be upfront on these things. It's no good. It's no saying 100% yes. Right. I am about 75% sure, but I have to be open. Now I'm at the stage of maturity with it all where I have to be open to other possibilities.
So listen, if people wanted, like anyone listening to this now, if anybody listening to this now wanted to see the nearest you could supply of proof, either in terms of photographic evidence, video, or more detail about your experience, where could they look to find that stuff?
They can go to my YouTube channel.
Is it going to blow me away, though, or am I going to look at it and go, oh, what a bloody waste of time that was? Topping Tommy, it was a beauty.
No, the one that illuminates the television aerial that happened on the 17th of the 5th, 1999, is the one that causes fascination among a lot of people. It went for analysis to a guy who was a video director on Jurassic Park. We put it under analysis. He concluded it was a UFO. It's an amazing piece of footage. And I want to up the ante, Ian, and film a few more belters for people.
And do you think, will the authorities be listening in on this? Because, to be honest, we could do with all the downloads we can get.
Yeah, I'm sure as a matter of routine, at some level, I would be of defence interest, and yes, as they say,
and
you know what I'm saying.
Just a final question. In which year will it all become clear that there is other life forms out there and they might be coming to visit us on a regular basis, and we in fact have a dialogue? How far away is that?
I'm tapping in, Ian. I'm tapping into the planet Sargon.
I will arrive tomorrow night at precisely 8 o'clock. At that time, I will make my wishes known to you. You will obey them or die. Have a pleasant night's sleep.
They say 2012 is going to be the year when it's all going to happen, when we're all going to understand. But, you know, I've spent years at this game, and I'm still just as clueless now as I ever have been.
But you think it's going to happen? You think there's going to be visitation on a mass scale at some point?
No, I don't think it will be on a mass scale. I think that real life, Ian, on a serious note, I think that real life and interaction with UFOs is very different from what we read about in the media, very different from how media presenters like yourself perceive it. The real goings-on behind the scenes are very, very different. It reads sometimes like a John le Carré novel. It really does. Fascinating it is.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Tony. I think the phrase, we've had enough, springs to mind. But nonetheless, Kev, that was Tony Topping. Come on, give us a round of a...
Tony Topping!
Tony Topping.
I'm still not convinced.
What about the New Zealand fella who was abducted?
Well, you know...
Was he making that up?
Maybe he thought he was, or maybe he just had a bad dream.
Yeah. Put it this way, I think Andy Zaltzman next week will be better.
From the Bugle?
Indeed.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Credit stream.
There you go. That's the end of episode 12. Thank you to you for downloading. If you like what you heard, don't forget to go to iTunes. Give us a nice 5-star review on the review section. If you're an Android user, make sure you download the free Stitcher app. Thanks to all of our guests. They can all be followed on Twitter, as can we, at Ian Collins UK. Our show's feature and sponsor music is by Kevin MacLeod. That's at incompetech.com. The show's technical operator is Andre Porch. The programme was edited by Manny Kendall. The small amount of research that goes into this was supplied by Patty Boulay, and the head of construction is Tommy Walsh. And don't forget to spread the word about this podcast like a gossip on crack. We'll be back next week with comedian and the Bugle's own Mr. Andy Zaltzman. Goodbye.
A Big Things Media production.
Big Things! Conquer life's mountains with the Mitsubishi ASX. Powering Ian Collins Wants a Word.
Like, oh my god.